So, hey, what's poppin', you guys? Welcome back to Sunshine's Bakery, and it is your girl, Sunshine. And today, I want to say we're going to be doing a 2022 wrap up, and I want to say thank you. Before I even go get into this, I want to say thank you to everyone who tunes into the videos. I want to say thank you to everyone who follows me and everything that I do. I want to say thank you for the support, whether you're supporting my OnlyFans, the YouTube, or the podcast. You guys have really given me a new sense of what you call it. I've created over 28 hours of content on my podcast, new content, and that was 2 weeks ago when I checked it, and I had about close to 3K minutes of listen time. So I love you guys. Um, I know a lot of people. I don't give a fuck what nobody's gonna do, but I want to say thank you because without y'all, I probably wouldn't have the platform, and I'd just be fucking sitting here talking to myself. So shout out to everybody who tunes in. Shout out to everybody who's sharing it. Shout out to everybody who's engaging. Shout out to everyone who hits me up in the DMs, the messages. I genuinely appreciate it. And between me working and like taking these mental health breaks and figuring out who I am, what I like to do, I just want to say thank y'all because this has been a wild year and a roller coaster for me. And if I don't tell y'all anything else, I want y'all to know that I genuinely appreciate everything that you guys have done. I thank y'all for showing up. I should thank y'all for showing the fuck out. I even just want to say thank y'all for being authentically yourselves. Like a lot of times, a lot of people are never gonna tell you like their fans like, oh, or their supporters that, oh, thank you for supporting me, thank you for listening to the bullshit that comes out my mouth. Because sometimes it is bullshit, sometimes I'm just having fun, sometimes I got some real shit to say, sometimes I don't got nothing to say at all and I just want to talk. Sometimes I get tired of myself speaking and I have to genuinely talk and speak. I feel like today's gonna be one of those days where I'm gonna just be like, I don't want to hear my voice. But yeah, as I prepare for this Sunshine's Bakery session, I really want y'all to know um, we're doing a 2022 wrap up, and I hope that you guys enjoy it because this year was a lot, and I'm going to touch on a lot, and I'm going to get really, really personal because I just feel like y'all have come along with the journey with me, and I want y'all to know exactly why I really fuck with y'all. And even if I probably not gonna go too personal, but just personal enough. So getting into it now. Um, Looking good as hell. I just sent my nigga 5 attachments. I really honestly. So before I even go into this, I y'all know the routine. If y'all don't know the routine for Sunshine Bakery, usually I have something that I baked. I have not baked anything all year long because I have been working on content and creating, and I've poured a lot of time into my OnlyFans. So we're gonna start off with there. So the type of baked we're gonna get is baked as in baked. We're gonna be on cloud 20 today, okay? While I go talk about these things. So I'm ready. So we're gonna take a toke of one of my favorite pens. It's indica. I love me an indica. Um, just big period, big prayer. And that's gonna be the very first thing that we're gonna talk about. So, cheers. I better not. So y'all, welcome. So this year I have been experimenting with THC. And not gonna hold y'all, I made drinks, edibles, a whole bunch of other stuff, and I like it. For me, myself, and I genuinely enjoy it for the simple fact that I don't know. Actually, I do know, but I'm not gonna tell the real reason why. But let's just say I have been enjoying this journey of experimenting. I got it in the teas. I got it the juices. It is really amazing. I even perfected it in this meal I made. It is so good, like so fire. And if anybody says it's not, they're a liar. Because it was so good, like, well, to me. And I even had like the people around me try it out and they say it's really good. So that kind of made me feel happy because I'm not gonna hold y'all. When I like something, this is why I think I might be autistic. When I like something, like I can get really obsessed with it. And let's just say I had to say like enough is enough with this one, but literally like I've been like learning how to go do my own stuff because when I go out there and I go buy, if it's not good enough, then I feel cheated. I feel what you call it. And then if it is good enough, then it's too strong. And if it's not strong enough, then it's weak. And you gotta eat like three. And by the time it kicks in, it's like 6 hours later and now you got shit to do. It's like, hold up, swell up. So you guys, I have been experimenting on my own. And I have this nice balance now where it's not too much, not too little, and it's just right. And I get so excited. Shout out to me. Mm, let's drink some of this. This right here is just tea. So I want y'all to see my cup. I got this from the zoo. And I'm not gonna hold y'all. Uh, when they put the little icy shit in there, iconic. Iconic. I fucking iconic. And speaking of the zoo is my favorite place to go to. And I've realized that. So this year I've probably been out by myself 2 to 3 times. And before you're like, why are you not going out like that? I live in a sundown town. They have Confederate flags everywhere. And I did a video where no, I did not. So yeah, basically I went to this bar. Quick little side story. I went to this bar and I was there drinking with white people. I was the only black person there, right? Once the black dude left, I was the only black girl there, and I was surrounded by white people. The way their look on their face changed, y'all, and I knew I had to go home soon because they kept on buying me drinks, trying to get me inebriated. I had mentioned something about a sundown town, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, don't tell me you were in X, Y, and Z, and dot 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 dot." And before I could get it out of my system and say exactly where I was at when they had the sundown shit, it was like, "Oh yeah, here in some other places are sundown towns too." They was like, "If I was you, I wouldn't go here, 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 here." They was like lynching. They went back to lynching. Yes. So therefore, if you're like, why is this like this? Like, girl, you're not cheap. I pay big. Anyways, she basically was like, yeah, and she didn't even tell me exactly where not to go. She said, oh, some places. And then she left it. She was like, oh, they're on that side, but they're not all over there. And I was like, so yeah. I've only been out like 2 or 3 times, and when I've gone out, I found a bar, which is nice, but it's too many white people there for me to feel safe. Um, Especially when they know about the little that be going on in their neighborhood. What's good in the neighborhood? Not this, shorty. Not this. What else? Then they have the what else? So the zoo is my favorite place to go. And I posted pictures when I went to the zoo. I had my hair done. I actually twisted my own hair. And it took me about 4 hours to do that shit because I did it when I was baked. And for a girl who did it when she was baked, it actually came out really decent. I haven't taken the time out to do my hair in a long time. And the fact that I did it, it felt so good. But back to what I was saying, this is the reason why I've only gone out twice, because I live in a sundown town, and the ideology of getting lynched or killed has not been it. And yeah, I went to a black event, and it was very disappointing. And it was disappointing because I guess they had the conservatives there and the conservative Christian people there, and they had these comedians, and the comedians were really, really funny. And I actually knew some of the comedians, so I actually like followed their work. So when they were there, I was having a good time. And then it's like, oh, after the event, it was a bunch of niggas talking shit, but it's not nothing new to me. So I was just like, it's cool, whatever. I enjoyed myself. The comedy show did not do what it was supposed to do. It didn't give 110%. It wasn't like, it didn't do that. So yeah. Next, I want to talk about my breakups. I've had two breakups this year. It means I dated twice. And this year in my dating, actually I dated more than twice, but like actual like official relationships I had two. I dated. And my breakups were hard. I think the hardest breakups that I had this year were my situationships, because my situationships were on a whole different level. Like, I don't know about y'all, but my situationships was more intense than my relationships. And breaking up with that one dude was easy, because he was like, "Oh, I might go to jail anyway, so you might as well." And I was like, "Fine." Because he wanted to like skip going to trial, because he didn't want this one girl to get convicted and go to jail from when he was doing security at this place. And I was like, "You're not on trial." He was like, "I just can't see." He said, "I just can't stand to see black women go to jail." And he was like, "I'd rather go to jail for her and she get a mistrial or some shit like that, because I know how the situation played out, and if the court system get her, then it's not gonna be fair for her." So we broke up, and as much as I want to say like he ended up going down there, and they dismissed the trial like when he was halfway there. We came back, and I guess we tried to make it work. Like after the whole thing in the court case, and let's just say it didn't work out, because he did something with his kid I didn't like, and I was like, mm-mm. So I know that some black men go have kids. He had, first off, he had kids, and for me, he told his child that he was gonna meet me, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable or safe yet to like meet nobody's child, because I don't have kids. I don't really know if he's gonna be like that. And then he was like, "Well, I said I don't really want to do that." And he was like, "You don't want to be with me?" And I said, "It's not that I want to be with you. I just feel like when it comes down to like kids and shit, I feel like this is like one of the milestones, and I don't want to be one of those girls that just come in and out." And he said, "So you plan on being in and out?" And I was like, "No, I don't plan on being in and out." But knowing how you just wanted to break up, you thought you was going to jail. That's like, I know you. He's like, "You told me not the type to like, stand by nigga if you go to jail." And I was like, "My whole thing is you could have avoided going to jail by just pleading the fifth." And he was like, "But," I said, "You still could have pleaded the fifth and got that girl a mistrial." And I said, "The fact that you would not," I said, "that doesn't make me feel safe, because what if something was happening to me, like, and I needed you? Would you dip on me, or would you not show up?" And I was like, what if they still go, and even if you don't do it because you have his opinion?" He was like, "Oh yeah," and like he did some shit that made me realize that he was sneaky. And he goes, "Oh, I might have a second child." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna work out for me, because yeah." So that was a breakup. The other breakup I had that really hurt me this year was um this weekend I'm trying to get me pregnant. Uh-huh. And I don't want to have kids. And the reason why I don't want to have kids is not because the reason that people think. Like, I just don't want to have kids for the simple fact that I'm not married, I'm not ready to have kids yet, and I rather have like that. Now I can trust this man. This man told me that he wanted to keep on like trying to get me to get pregnant and shit like that. And then whole thing is like it took us too long for us to be exclusively dating. And for me, it took us too long for us to be exclusively dating. So like I guess we were like dating for about like 2 to 3 months, and he was like, "Oh, I usually drop bitches by this time," all this other stuff. And the only reason why he decided he wanted to get exclusive with me is because I told him that I went out there on another date. And he goes, "Why did you go on a date?" And I was like, "It's not like we go together." And I said, and I pointed out all the bitches he was fucking, because we were extremely honest with each other. So it's like we'd have conversations like, who are you sleeping with and all this other stuff. And like we go through each other's phone and shit. Like, and I don't know, oh, I'm insecure, well, he's insecure, shit, but just to go see, make sure like that everything is lined up. Because when you, so we were, so when we did get to exclusive dating, that's when he got really possessive, and he was like, oh yeah, and then he started like nitpicking like little things. He was like, oh, you're gaining weight here, you're gaining weight there, and I was like, this can't be the same dude that used to have a six-pack and a and everything, telling me now that I'm not with a beer belly. A whole beer belly. Telling me that I gained weight here because I gained 2 pounds. I've been 180 solid. And I just like fluctuate between 180 and 185. I think the closest I got to 200 was like 189. And I was like, woo, Chalet, I think it's about time we, you know what I'm saying? So he goes, oh, well, you know. And I was like, okay, well, I get it and I understand. But at the end of the day, I feel like I shouldn't be the person who's getting judged for like my body because I got like this much fat when you got this much more fat from when we first started fuck with each other. And then he started getting nasty and like just trying to unravel. And I was like, you eat like shit. And he's like, okay, I eat like shit, but what? And I was like, you're eating like shit and you're telling me to do this. And then when I ask you for certain things, and then he's like, I haven't paid my taxes, I haven't done this. I was like, ooh, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I think, no. I had cut old boy off, and I was like, I think we should be just, be friends. And he was like, no, I don't want to be friends. And he basically got snappy with me, and I was like, but before then, like, cause we had like took a like break for 2 weeks. He was like, oh, where do you stay at, so I could pop up on you. He stays so close to me. It is ridiculous. Like, he's not my direct neighbor, but bitch, he's a neighbor. Okay, like less than 10 minutes, Puka Roots, and that's on a bad day. Like, I could literally slow walk and be to him. But he's like, oh, like, where do you stay at? And I was like, ooh, because he started talking about popping up. And that just reminded me of, like, a stalker shit. And I was like, no way, Jose. And the other breakup that, like, it was a Pisces. I have a soft spot for Pisces in my heart because I'm a Pisces. And our birth charts just were 2 different birth charts. Let's just say that. And he kept on saying shit like, he wanted to go back to his exes and shit. Yeah, that shit hurt my feelings. Yeah, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Do I want to cry? Oh my gosh. Yuck. So, yeah, he broke up with me. Broke up with me because we were dating. So, situationship, we were dating. And we went from dating multiple people, and he got jealous. So, he said, I want us to date exclusively. So, we were dating exclusively. I was waiting for him to ask me to be his girlfriend. I never got asked to be his girlfriend. Because he kept on bringing up his exes. He was like, my exes would never do this. My ex, my ex, my ex. I was like, what if you want to be with them, be with them. And he was like, oh, if you want to be. He was like, why don't you just be by yourself then? And I was like, fine, I will. And, yeah, let's just say that was not a. He didn't like that response. And then, mind you, we worked together, so it was awkward. Yeah. That one hurt the most because I had to see him every day. And, like, usually we was on the same schedule. And I tried switching my schedule and shit like that to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, so I get the weekends back. Child, I was taking Friday, okay? second Friday, okay? I would have took Saturday. Bitch, I went in Saturday, Sunday. I wanted to be there 2 days, miss a day, 2 days, and be done. These motherfuckers was like, no. And this dude made my life a living hell. Like, this man literally went to people and told, like, this man, after we broke up, he was so bitter. This is what made me so mad. He literally went to people and said that I was harassing him because we had to work in the same aisle. And I said, if you need this area, just let me know and I'll get out your way. Because mind you, when you're scanning, it's like you have to be like, so everything is like the whole thing is supposed to take about 15 to 20 seconds. He over there, I'm in this one area because they got me doing one thing where I'm like in this one area, so I got to be like, so you know, I'm working, you know, I'm getting it up. Do you need? I told you don't talk to me when I'm at work. Oh my gosh. His man was like, I told you don't talk. So mind you, the supervisor came and the supervisor was like watching him and he was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm okay. He was like, because you haven't like scanned nothing in the last 5 minutes and you know you on a hot pick right now. He was like, why don't you just tell her you need to this aisle? And then he goes, oh, she didn't let me get the space. And I was like, bro, if you literally stop right here, I literally asked him, did he want it? They said he mad because we just broke up. And that's what I thought. That's what I'm thinking about him. But I was like, oh, I just asked him if he needed me to move out the way because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have easily moved, but I'll move my car out the way and stuff like that. So he got to work right next to me, and he's right underneath me. Mind you, we the same height, so he right here, and he wanted to kiss me. I could see the tears in his eyes. And it's not funny because I know he was like, it hurt and it pain, but bitch, I was like, I would have found a new session. I would have went to the bathroom or something like that, and I would let you have this moment. So mind you, I was like, I'm sorry. He goes, fuck you. All I know was like the next week I got fired because apparently I was harassing him at work, and I just want to say you're a bitch. Big time. That's my job, bitch. Death. Oh, my grandmother's passing. I finally learned how to grieve my grandmother's death, and next year we will be doing an honorary tribute to my grandmother on Valentine's Day because that's when I found out that she passed away. And we're gonna be talking about my grandmother and my grandfather, their life, their legacy, and the shit that they meant to me, and their imperfections and their ways. And even outside of that, I will be going into the mental acuity of certain things and getting it popping because your girl is that. And then there is going to be a day I have to figure out exactly what I want to call it, but I don't want to say that I've mastered death because death is still something new to me. But I dealt with it a lot better. 5 big lessons I learned this year. Patience is a virtue. Your mental health matters. What else? Love yourself first. It's okay for things to end. And just because something ends does not mean that that's the complete end. It just means it's a new start to something better. And when you're restarting, you're restarting off from experience. So now you'll be better. I learned some stuff from dating, and it's that because I realized that in these relationships that I've been a better version of myself than I've been any other way. If I'm being honest, I've literally learned because I really like the dude who I worked with. Like, even though we had two different birth charts and we wasn't gonna get along, I really did and genuinely enjoy him and like him and wanted to support him. It took everything in me not to like cry when we broke up because it just ended so abruptly. Like, he got so mad, like, and then even at work, like, he would watch me from a distance instead of just like speaking up and saying something like, "Hey, like, the breakup is hurting me," or "Hey, da da da." It got me fired. And then the other bitches he started working with, like, be so fucking for real. It was so much like fuck shit that went on. I was so mad. Like, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, it's not their manager." It was that bad, and that shit hurt my heart because I felt like if we're gonna do anything, I feel like we should be very fucking for real. I genuinely feel like we should be very fucking for real. Like, do y'all know how it feels to like just have your heart ripped out your chest? And then when it's being ripped out your chest, you try to be the bigger person because you came into this whole thing not giving off like past trauma and shit. And somebody's just dumping their past trauma on you and then projecting that you're doing it. I didn't go in there with trust issues. I didn't go in there with afraid of emotional intimacy. I didn't even like fucking go in there with the expectation of you gotta give me this and give me that. Like, he wasn't even in the bracket that I would usually date. I showed up emotionally, mentally for him, physically, spiritually, and what did I get? Spat in my face and told that I wasn't his ex because I wouldn't argue with him or let him go days without talking or not expressing his feelings and his emotions or even just saying that some shit hurt him. Because if something hurts you, you can't just be like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about it today because I don't want to talk about it today, or we're not going to talk about it at all because this is that and the third, and then say, hey, I just want to fuck it out, when clearly fucking is not going to help you. Because we could go all night if you want, but you're still sad. I had one dude last year commit suicide after we broke up. Like, I tried to get him to open up and he was like, I'm bullying him and making him open up. And I said, okay, I just feel like you're not happy, and it's showing in like in the worst way because you're acting a little reckless. He basically got upset with me, kicked me out, and told me that we weren't gonna be together no more. Fine, cool, dandy, I'll take that. You know what? I'll take that L. I'll take that L. I'll take that L. Um, killed it so. 2 weeks in this apartment later. And I was like, I didn't want to see that happen again. I just wanted to see like the greatness. And it's like asking for emotional vulnerability is not something that I do to try to be. It's like I just really hurt me when he was found dead in his apartment 2 weeks later. Um okay. So it's like in these relationships it was very hard for me because after knowing that shit happened last year, it was very hard for me to date. So this is why when I'm screaming and preaching like open up emotionally, please, it's because I've seen the. Is it because I ate edges on it? Yuck. Yeah, it's breakfast. That is burnt toast. Yuck. But and I be asking for emotional vulnerability amongst black men. It's not because I genuinely just want y'all to be, oh my gosh. I want y'all to be emotionally aware because when you date somebody and you see like the signs of them like wanting to off themselves and do stuff like that, and it's like, okay, well, what do you do now? And then they won't open up to you, but they got so much they won't even say nothing to you. And then they off they self in their apartment. But yeah, that was dating this year. 5 big lessons, possibilities for things that's coming up. Um, cause I know when that hotline bling, you know. Ooh, Chalet. A part of me wants to cry because I didn't even know we was gonna get to this point. I didn't even think I was gonna tell y'all that. Oh, let's go see the cards because I don't want to be frozen in time. Mental health breaks. Um, while we're on the topic, mental health breaks. I feel like if you going through it, if 2022 has taught me nothing at all, I feel like you should prioritize your mental health. Being completely honest, because if not, you could be suicidal, or you could be something like this year. One of my associates came and had a really bad breakup. And as much as I knew like the breakup wasn't that bad, to him it was his very first love, his very first heartbreak, and he was suicidal. I went down there to make sure that he didn't kill himself, and I still check up on him to this day to make sure that he's still not suicidal. Because it scared the fuck out of me. And yeah. So I think that we should all take a mental health break, or check up on our mentals, or do the work to work on our mentals, because a lot of times when black women or people are screaming, go to therapy, 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 it's not because we want y'all just to be what you call it or make y'all mad, because therapy is going to make you mad when you first get there, because they're going to call out all your shit. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're going to call out all your shit for you to work on it. And the way they're going to do it, it might be calm, whatever. It depends on what type of therapist you got. And yeah, it hurts at first. The first month or two is going to be, okay? Getting my best friend to go back to me, and my best friend are looking for new therapists. And we're like, who can we trust that if once we up in there, we broken in? Because it takes time. I hear black men get mad with black women when they say, go to therapy, right? Go to therapy. Go to therapy. Go get some help. Tell me how you feel. And I get it, emotional intelligence, and especially with the men and how they're raised, to not open up emotionally, or most men or some men or the parents who practice that are like, oh, emotions are for girls, like suck it up, be a man, and all this other shit. And then when they're going through these things, and then when they kill themselves, everybody's like, oh wow, oh, make sure you be kind, be a kind human being. And it's like, where was this be a kind human being when they were here? Like when they were showing signs of like not eating, when they were showing signs of depression, like when they were showing signs of them not loving themselves, like when they were showing signs of them like being scared, like when they were showing themselves like themselves. Like, excuse me, I'm talking to my ex-boyfriend again, and not in that way. Like, we're just having conversations. I don't even need y'all don't need to know the context of what we're talking, but we were talking, and I thought I was a good partner to him because I was like, oh, da 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 da, whoop, whoop. Come to find out, I did more damage to him emotionally than I did anything else, and it made me realize that I was a bully, me, and yeah, I learned a lot about myself in a relationship, and he learns, and he's learning about like emotional intelligence and what that looks like. And sometimes when I have conversations with him, I'm talking to him, and he's like nobody's ever asked me how I felt. Nobody nobody's telling me to go get blankets. Nobody's ever cared enough to tell me to do this, like da da da. And I'm just like, it makes sense now. And then he told me, like, I remember, that's not for y'all to know, but I really want the black community, if they don't do anything else, if you didn't take nothing else from this video, is to check on your mental health. Like, really put main focus on your mental health. Like, I want so much focus on mental health that when motherfuckers see you and hear you, they know that you about that action, that you really about that old, oh yeah, we on a mental health tip. Like, yeah. Like, and stop dating people who don't care about your mental health. Like, you don't need to be with somebody that's going to tell you to grind all year long, and don't take a day off. You don't need to be with somebody who does not want to hear how you feel. You don't need to be with that, because your mental health matters. And as someone who had SI, and seeing how black men's unaliving rate is going up, and in the black community, black women are feeling this exact same way, and they're on the they're only thing that's keeping them is like the responsibility, but then now they're functioning high levels of depression. I want for my community to take mental health seriously, because even if you go once a month, twice a month, whatever, until you feel comfortable, I think we should go to therapy and get therapists who look like us. Not little Miss Susie, not little Miss, and be kind with them. Because sometimes you might have to date a couple of therapists till you realize what you like. Like for me, I realized I didn't get my therapist until like the fourth time around. And I had to pay for that one. And I know you're like, oh, because you paid for it. No. I went to the first three because some people were like, oh my gosh, they really worked for me. I didn't like them because I wasn't religious. And they were like, well, I have faith. And I was like, yeah, that right there, session over. Because I'm not Christian. I had another therapist who was, I know you're like, oh, those things matter in therapy, just so you know. Like, they need to be able to respect what you believe in and all this other shit. Because when I come to you for therapy, I don't need you to just say, I pray about it. Because if I'm having a really bad day and I can't tell my ups from downs, I don't want you to try to manipulate me. Because especially when you be down, therapists get away with that shit sometimes. So, yeah. I went through 3 therapists. I paid for one and all. And I finally found my one. I was like, I kind of like her. Black woman. She is a faith believer, but she does not bring her faith into it. And when I talk about things about spirituality and shit like that, and how I feel like sometimes I'm going crazy or X, Y, and Z with da 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 da, like we'll have conversations about it. And she won't even say, well, in my faith, and it's because she respects it. So that's what I want us to do. This has been my 2022 wrap up. I know it's not the, but I really honestly do want us to get our shit together for